Hey everybody, Cody from Bonnie Acres Farm here, and I have a really exciting day. Everyone's excited. And this is a hatch day for us. We have our second round of meat birds hatching, so we're excited to share in this today, and hopefully you learn something. Number one is coming along quick. There's another pip right there. There's another one right there, another one back there. These eggs are a lot dirtier than we would normally have them. Our last batch were pristine, but we were trying to kind of test and see like how much cleaning is necessary. So apologies for how nasty these look. They're not normally this bad. So obviously very exciting. This is exciting for us because the past few years we've done Cornish cross. So we bought Cornish cross at the store and raised them, and that was our meat birds for the year. But this year, last year we did a dual purpose bird, and we basically got enough to cull some of them for our own use, for our own meat rather, last year. And then this year we had some birds left over to breed. So we kept 2 roosters and I think about 10 hens is what we have right now. And through them, we bred our first batch. We got 14 out of 20. 20 of them actually did, they were fertilized and they did take, but they didn't make it all the way. We think it was probably something humidity-wise that messed up that. But this time around, we have 22. All of them are fertilized. All of them have taken so far. We haven't candled in a couple days to see if they all are ready to hatch, but we're starting to see plenty of little pips and lots of action right now. So it's a very exciting day, and it's just one step closer to being a closed farm, which is our goal, to be able to raise our own meat and have a closed herd, closed flock, and live that way. So we're a little more self-sufficient in that regard. So for reference, we are using the Nurture Right 360. We've used this for multiple hatches. I think we've probably done about 7 or 8 hatches out of this now in the last couple of years. So we've done our layers, we've done these meat birds here, and it is a very easy to use, straightforward incubator. Normally it has the turning wheel so that you'll be able to rotate the eggs automatically. It'll turn them on its own. So it's a really easy to use, kind of hands-off device. Oh my gosh, this happened right in front of us just a moment ago. I moved that egg out of the way for her, or him, and just now rolled her head out of that egg.
That's a very nice chick.
Yeah. So now, once your chicks hatch like this, I mean, she's probably got a little bit more to go, but she'll be out of there in probably 10 minutes or 15 minutes. But once they're out of the egg, they take about, I think it says to give them about 24 hours in the incubator so they're dried off before you move them anywhere. There's a little beak right there peeking out.
Baby.
So what they do is they get that initial peck. The initial peck shows a little bit of daylight, and then they just work their way around until they get their egg cracked. Look at her.
Wow, she's almost there.
Yeah, isn't that great? You scoop your finger.
Ooh.
You can see their big bulgy eyes under all the wet feathers. It's so funny.
I knew there was gonna be a chick hatching today.
Yeah, that's how it happens, right? You see one pip and then they're ready to go.
Today, we should get out.
And there we have it. She is out. She's officially kicked her way out, and it's a fun thing to watch because they are just constantly getting a little more movement, but then they're just flopping over and falling asleep. Day 2 of the chick hatch, and here's our update. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hatched. They're doing pretty good. Anxious to get out.
Oh my.
Good boy. 3, 4, 6.
That one might be a little wet still.
This one? 9.
So here we have our first 7 that have hatched. There's 2 more in there right now. One that just hatched, so it's going to take some time to dry. Ooh. This light really brings out the worst in me. But yeah, so we have one in there that just hatched, so not quite dry enough to come out here yet. The other one that hatched is not doing so good. Every other hatch we have something like that happen, and you get a lot of eggs that just don't even hatch. So here's what those chicks look like when they've feathered. This is our first batch we did earlier this year. There's 15 or 14 in here, I believe. So this is what they'll look like in a few weeks. They're in their new tractor that we just built. Not the prettiest thing, but it works. All right, so over here we have our meat bird forest, and these are the birds that we hatched those chicks from. So this is what they look like. So they are larger. I mean, they're not massive, but they're as big as a Cornish cross. The good thing with them is that they have a lot more longevity. Cornish crosses at this age are struggling. These chickens are almost a year old now, so they're doing well. And we actually haven't had any of them die just for no reason. Cornish crosses, if you don't feed them right, or if you're not throttling their feed right, they die quick. So we've had our last batch of Cornish cross that we have done was last year, when we were waiting for these to grow to size, which that's the one drawback. They take a little bit longer to get to size, but the Cornish cross that we had in the meantime to kind of supplement our meat production while we were waiting for these ones, we had, I want to say 20. A few of the chicks died. They're just so fragile, especially when you get them from a store. We got them from Blaine's, you get them from Tractor Supply. It just depends where you go, but for the most part, they're just so fragile. So with the Cornish cross, though, we had 20. We lost like 2 or 3 chicks, and then we just had this rampant heart attack spell come over them and take out, I think, another 7 of them. So it was a pretty miserable culling day, because we only had 9, and obviously we felt terrible for all the ones that ended up dying early for no good reason. But we found out that they were basically getting into the layer feed, which is why you got to have a separate space for Cornish cross too. So they were getting the layer feed and overeating, and that was leading them to dying from a heart attack. And you can tell it's a heart attack when their skin gets all purple and just blood saturated. So it was not a good time. We haven't had that problem. These birds will throttle their own eating habits, so you can feed them freely. You don't have to worry about how much they're eating. So that's another perk of this breed. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you learned something along the way. There's a whole lot more details we can give on the incubating and hatching process, but we just wanted to give a little intro on what we're doing this season, and eventually we'll do more. We plan to do videos for our processing and everything, so make sure you subscribe to stick around for all that. If you have any questions, please drop them below, or anything to contribute, please drop that below as well. But until next time, God bless.